people wherever you roam.
So next up is Watchmen.
We're society's only protection.
From what?
Are you kidding me? From themselves.
The 2009 version, though there are many different versions at this point, and also there's many different versions of the 2009 version, but I watched the theatrical cut, which personally I think is the best version of this, mostly because it's not bogged down by the extra stuff, which just slows down the story, honestly.
Why does one death matter against so many? Because there is good and evil must be punished.
I want to say first off that I'm a big fan of the comic book. It's actually my favorite graphic novel of all time, so I think very highly of it.
The truth is, you're the closest thing to a friend I got.
So it can be somewhat disappointing if you're a big fan of the comic like I am watching this movie, because there's a lot they don't get right.
You sound bitter.
Me? Bitter?
But I actually kind of like this movie, honestly. Find it pretty entertaining.
Ain't had this much fun since Woodward and Bernstein.
I don't think it gets the point of the comics.
What do you expect? The comedian's dead.
And again, this is me talking about the graphic novel, not really talking about this movie, because the thing about this movie is that there's a lot it gets wrong. Visually, I would say, adapts Watchmen fairly well. You know, like a lot of the same cinematography matches the way the panels were set up in the comic.
You seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
Visually, it copies the comic almost exactly. And that's kind of the thing that makes it seem like, at first glance, that the story is doing the same and copying the story exactly, you know, but it doesn't quite do that. And that's why it's kind of hard to recommend this movie, especially to fans of the comic book. If you haven't seen the comic and you want to watch this movie, I think they get most of it right.
Okay, thank you.
It starts off with somebody killing the comedian. You don't know who, you don't know why, and you kind of follow Rorschach as he's getting to the bottom of it, but soon more heroes kind of join the investigation, trying to just figure out what is going on and why.
Maybe someone's picking off costumed heroes.
The mystery is really good. It was really good in the comic too, and it's translated to screen well.
This is way bigger than both of us.
It's almost correct, is the thing. You know, it's just a little off, which is the thing that, like, kind of irks me. And the first time I watched it, it really bothered me, just like how it was just kind of off. Because I still enjoyed it, even when I watched it in theaters. And it's not even just the ending.
This wasn't caused by nuclear warheads.
I mean, they get a lot right in this movie, too. I feel like Rorschach's storyline, like the whole thing, is basically how I remember in the comic book. The person playing him, James Earle Haley, does a very good job throughout the whole movie, and I think perfectly cast in this role.
Smooth talkers. And all of a sudden, nobody can think of anything to say.
So I think the comedian is also like that. Like, he's perfectly how I remember him from the comic book.
She was pregnant, and you gunned her down.
That's right. You know what? You watched me.
But aside from Rorschach and the comedian, all the characters are kind of off. Nino kind of becomes the main character instead of being kind of this sad, lonely man. He's more like full of focus and has nice guy vibes written all over him. Silk Spectre 2. I don't know if the casting decision here was exactly right. I mean, she's fine. Malin Åkerman, she does a fine job as Laurie / Silk Spectre 2. It's not exactly how I pictured it in the comic. Like, she was very strong, independent woman in the comic, and here she feels kind of weak-willed to me.
You're serious.
I used to be a master vendor too, remember? I'm used to going out at 3 in the morning and doing something stupid.
Dr. Manhattan, he's fine. He's just not at all what I pictured him as, you know? I kind of think that Zack Snyder read the comic and saw him as being emotional at points, and so he decided to hire this incredibly emotive actor to play him, and that's not really who he was in the comic. He could be emotive as time, because I think the point was that even though he was a Superman, he was still a man.
I said, leave me alone!
Same with Ozymandias. Kind of bothers me in this movie, actually. He's probably my least favorite part of this movie, just because this isn't Ozymandias from the comics. Ozymandias was always very strong businessman, you know? He kind of reminded me of like a nicer version of the Kingpin from Marvel.
This is the new Karnak. This represents the culmination of a dream more than 2,000 years old.
So he's like a really egotistical narcissist, and not at all like how he was in the comic book. So my overall thoughts, this is a pretty fun movie that might be missing the point of the comic in a lot of places, but it's still like a decent adaptation. I would recommend this movie, but I would also recommend all the other versions of Watchmen above this movie. So take that for what you will.
We got a prison full of killers out here. What have you got?